Hello, 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 all my friends out there. How are you? Welcome to the Kathy J Show. I am Kathy J, and like I say it every day, I'm so happy that you're here hanging out with me for this half hour. Thank you guys so much, especially all of you that like in your offices that are recording my show and then going home and watching it and then talking about it the next day. I can't say enough thank yous to all of you. Like, mwah, thank you so much, because it's awesome that you're tuning in, because now we are airing at 3 p.m. every afternoon, everybody. So if you can't catch us in the morning, definitely catch us when you get home, everybody. So today we are talking about one of those things that I'm horrible with, money. You know, with COVID and everything that's been going on, we've been living with a lot of fear and uncertainty, okay? So you have to think, how has this impacted your money? Money expert Christine Walsh is here to open up the discussion and help us discover what's going on with us and our money. Thank you, Christine Walsh. Yay! Thank you for being here.
No, you're so welcome.
Oh, this is awesome. So everybody, she came from Steamboat Springs, which is so cool that you made the drive.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about your history, because I want everybody to know what a badass you are. All right, so you came from Wall Street. You lived that life.
Yeah, I grew up in New York City, and I was groomed to go to business school and work on Wall Street and just move up the corporate ladder there.
Yeah, for sure. You were in investment banking,
I was
correct?
in investment banking on the global, on an international scale. So I was doing portfolio management work, a little bit of research. Yeah.
So who is this right here?
That's me and my mom on the right, my cousin Amy, my Aunt Nancy, and my cousin Katie.
Are all of you Queens
and
girls?
We're all Bronx and Queens.
I love that.
You know, yeah.
It's nice to know that even people from Bronx and Queens do the tourist thing.
Yes, exactly. We got together many years ago and did that. It was a lot of fun.
No, that's awesome. So you were the investment banker that we all see heading to Wall Street and doing your thing.
100%, like shoes, Subway.
Wow.
You know, the whole outfit. Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is beautiful. Like everyone right now is
I
like
still haven't lost some of my New York touch. I hope.
No, you walked in and I was like, dang, she's on point. Okay, so what changed to make you want to leave New York?
9/11 had a huge effect on me.
Right.
My family is a family of firefighters and cops, civil servants. So I was
Thank you to all of our civil servants.
Yes.
Amen. Yes.
I was about 27 or so when 9/11 happened, and I realized, wow. And when I'm in your 20s in Manhattan, you're like, life is invincible.
You're living the life. If you were only 27, yes.
Exactly. And something like that happens. Probably the most traumatic thing that's happened in my life. I said to myself, okay, I guess you can perish at a moment's notice. So why don't I follow some of my dreams? So I started going skiing on ski trips out west. And then one day I was in DIA heading back to New York into LaGuardia, and I said, I'm coming back and I'm going to move here.
Wow.
And and
you just said, I'm heading to Steamboat Springs.
And I moved to Steamboat straight. I had never been to Steamboat. I moved straight to New York, to Steamboat from New York. And I remember leaving my parents' driveway, and I was crying, and then I left the driveway, went across the bridge that brings you kind of to the rest of the country.
Yes, right.
And I hit all this traffic, and I just said to myself, I'm out of here. You know, I'm done with the New York traffic.
Exactly.
And then I really had a divine push behind me, I believe. I was 31 at the time. I moved 4 years later.
Yeah, but you leaned into the divine push that you were feeling. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Okay, so everybody, when we come back, and that was you and your husband that was skiing, correct?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So when we come back, there's lots more to talk about with Christine. We'll be right back.
Kathy J.
Ramos Law is an official partner of the Kathy J Show. He's a medical doctor and a lawyer. Ramos Law, what makes us different makes us better.
Kathy J.
Welcome back to the Kathy J Show, everybody. So thank you so much for joining us. It's a new year, new opportunities to change the way you're dealing with your money. I know I need to. So if you've been doing what you've been doing isn't working, your approach probably is off. So money expert Christine Walsh is here to explain that and help us out. Yay, Christine, thanks for being here. Okay, so I wanted to ask you really fast. So you moved to Steamboat Springs.
Yes.
How did you do that, financially? How does that happen? Did you end
I
up...
did have some savings, and a friend of mine who I knew lived there, and she said, come, I'll get you a job.
That
and so
helps.
I actually was a bartender for a year and a half.
Really?
In Steamboat.
What's your favorite drink to make?
A Hurricane, because it was a New Orleans style bar.
Oh, okay.
And it
So
was
do
already
you-
pre-made, so it was pretty easy.
I just do that.
Exactly. It was
Right.
pretty low end, but a great place to meet a lot of
I
people in
bet.
a ski town. So
Yes.
I did that for a while, and then I said to myself, I'm a 9-to-5 kind of girl. So
Yeah.
I ended up going back into finance, working for a real estate developer up there.
So has your money always been right? Have you always been in control of it, the way I would assume?
Yeah, you would think. And I tried to have that persona outside, but once I left New York and once I left the corporate job and having the benefits and
Yes.
an investment, putting my investment together with somebody else, like it was all happening on its own. And then working as a bartender, I was saving everything I could make to spend
live on,
and
yeah.
live. Yeah. So my finances went a little downhill in my first years there. I moved to Steamboat in '05, and of course then '08 happened with the housing crisis.
Yes, right.
And I ended up losing my job as the financial controller for the real estate developer. I lost my home to foreclosure. And I really had a crappy boyfriend at the time.
Yeah,
so it
you,
was sort
can
of
lose
this,
you can lose a lot of money to boyfriends. I'm a witness
yeah.
to that.
It was like
Yes,
a little bit
I'm
of a
an example.
trifecta there,
Yeah.
perfect storm, and I couldn't share that with anyone.
Right.
It was hard for me. I was embarrassed because I was supposed to be the money expert, and I didn't have my stuff together. I was too busy watching other people's stuff in the work that I was doing, and then losing my job at the time. So it was a tough time.
So you had to pull it together like the rest of us have to pull it together, okay?
You know, and similar things are happening now, you know, and it's
Absolutely.
different dynamic or different level.
So
but
many people I've still not recovered from being unemployed during COVID.
Yeah.
You know, so it is very hard. And people don't understand how difficult it is, but it is something. What I loved, my producer had mentioned, you said it's about emotional attachments that we have with our money, the relationship we have. It's not like the way our mom and dad looked at money. We can't do that anymore.
Right,
How
right.
did our mom and dad look at money that was wrong?
Well, I don't know if it was wrong as much as just it was almost as if you wanted to lose weight and you said, I'm just going to go on a
Yes,
diet.
right.
And you go on the diet, but you're not dealing with the emotional wherewithal of why I'm going on a diet
Yeah.
or why have I been overeating or undereating, whatever the way about that. And it's the same thing. We used to just be like, money's very linear and very logical, and you just add 2 and 2 together, and it's so much more than that.
Yeah.
There's so much emotion wrapped into it because it affects every part of our life.
It does. How many times do you get that endorphin from going and spending your money?
Exactly.
Right. And then you're very
True.
sad when the bill comes.
Very true,
Right.
very
and then you're
true.
kicking yourself that you charged all that money on a credit card that has a 24% interest rate.
Exactly.
Yes. I mean, you're
Exactly.
right. We can go in circles about it. So is that where you start, where you just kind of have to like figure out, okay, I'm emotionally attached when I spend? Or, I mean, like, where do you start?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say if it's holding you back from where you want to be going, whether that's in your career, in a business, if you're a business owner, or just as a mom and dad in your family, if you feel that this is really holding you back and it's keeping you from growing forward. And ultimately, I don't have kids, but I think of the legacy that's left, kids watching parents with their money or money struggles or money arguments or money joys, whatever it is. Just being able to recognize, hey, there's a healthier way to do that. And that's what I represent.
And
in
that's
this
where
work.
we're going to stop. That's awesome. Because when we come back, we're going to find out the healthy way because we all need it. We'll be right back.
Kathy J.
Oakwood Homes is an official partner of the Kathy J Show. Oakwood Homes, building happiness.
Kathy J.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Kathy J Show. So today we're talking and learning a lot about how to handle our money differently in 2022, because not only does it require us to take a different approach in how we manage the money, you also got to improve your relationship with it as well. So here we go, Christine Walsh. What does the relationship with your money mean?
Well, I pose it like this, and all your viewers can kind of feel into this. If money was a person in your life,
Yeah,
and you were in close relationship with this person,
right.
how might you describe
He's very
the
abusive.
relationship? I've heard it all. I've heard.
He's not attentive to me.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. The one
He
night
never gives
stand
me
I've
one night
heard.
stand. He never gives me anything I need.
He's here one day, it's gone
gone
on
the
the next.
next.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly right.
And I think that everyone, we can just feel into what that might be for anyone. And the idea of having a healthy relationship, it's one of our longest relationships.
Yes, and you don't think of it like that.
No.
A relationship.
Right? So if it's going to be one of our longest, wouldn't it make sense to at least try to improve it?
Make
and
it
again,
healthy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
So the first thing is awareness.
yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
And that recognition, again, as I was saying, is this holding me back from where I want to go? And in the awareness, I have my clients, so this is just a little exercise if anyone wants to take it on, of writing a letter to money and just letting it rip.
Why
of
do
like-
you hate me?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
okay.
Like, and just get those feelings out. This is for your eyes only. You can
All I've ever done is work for you.
rip it up or toss it in the incinerator or whatever
Just
you
like
want
a letter that you would write to an ex or something.
Exactly.
Just
So
to-
if you
right.
think of it as a relationship and you wanted to improve this relationship, what might you do with that? You would
Yeah.
communicate.
Yeah.
And so this is an exercise in that.
All right, and you're probably learning some stuff as you're writing it out.
Yeah, and as you're
Okay.
writing it out, and then I have my clients switch roles, and money writes you back, and then really lays it out.
Because money's like, you didn't need a second watch. You already have a pair of shoes that you wear, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
So,
what money would probably slap
lot
us
of-
right in the face.
A lot of awarenesses will come out of that as you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, okay, so then you accept where you are, right?
Yeah, so that's something where even from a very practical level, we can look at, what are your expenses?
Yeah.
And-
Because that's my thing. That's how I was taught. Is you put out your expenses here.
Yeah.
What comes in.
Yeah.
What has to make sure you get paid,
Yep.
like a roof over your
Yeah.
head, and then whatever's left.
Right,
Right. And
right.
then you'd realize what can I float as a bill so I can eat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But what's a
And-
different way to do it?
Well, how I like to do it, because that can be me telling somebody to do that, they will be like, yeah, Christine, sure, whatever. I've been trying to do that. I say, hey, set yourself up to win. Make it, put some music on, light a candle.
Okay.
Do it with someone you love, that you care about, might be help you with, and just look at it with no judgment. That's
Okay.
how I would say
right.
it.
Because you do go in already.
Exactly.
defeated, okay.
Exactly. And say there's no there. I want to look at this. If it's a commitment, right? We're at the beginning of the year here.
Yes.
We are in a amplified field of around COVID. I mean, COVID's what drew so much fear out of into this world right now, and it's amplified through our money. So why not either make a decision to start to look at it differently, and again, this way or any other way that maybe it's something you're reading out in the news or.
And you're right, because I didn't mean to interrupt
Yeah,
you, but
go for
so often I have a friend that is always complaining she never has money, but she has money.
Yeah.
Like I'm sitting here like, no, you have money.
Yeah.
Like, and then all of a sudden she's like, oh, I have, $100. I just decided to go buy a pair of shoes. I'm like, well, then you have money.
Yeah.
You didn't buy a $20 pair of shoes.
Yeah,
You bought so
Yeah.
people don't understand. You're
Yeah.
right. It's kind of like they need to get in alignment with the reality
Yeah.
of what they have and what they put out there by saying I don't have money.
Yeah.
That's the wrong reality.
Yeah. And
Okay.
how I like to look at it is what's important to me. What am I spending my money
Right.
on?
Do I
Because
need
that
that?
actually can be the place where it says, oh, I haven't been paying for this gym membership. I've been paying for this gym membership, but I'm not going.
Right.
What is that, helping me or hurting me? And then, a pair of shoes. I'm a shoe girl, so
These are great shoes. Look at those things. They're beautiful.
I'm a shoe girl, so if I spend money on shoes, saying that's bringing joy to my life,
Yes.
I'm kind of okay with that.
Okay.
I'm not the money coach that will say, cut out your Starbucks latte. If that's the thing that brings you the biggest joy
Okay.
of your day,
Yes.
I want the money, or I invite our viewers here to have the money be an expression of the values that you live.
I totally get that, but you can't give everybody permission to go and express how they want with everything, because all of us would really be in debt, right?
But if you were to list out your expenses and see where you're at, you may be able to make different decisions.
Yes.
And really, money is about choice at the end of the day.
No, it totally is. So, what about the actionable steps that anchor you? What does that mean?
The actionable steps, nothing really happens until we take action and we make a decision. So I invite everyone, again, even today, as I'm talking and offering up different ways to look at this.
You are.
Even if it's just a money conversation that you have differently with your partner,
right,
you
your
know,
kids.
your kids.
Yes. Because all I ever tell them is, don't ask. We have no money. But maybe I should ask them if it's something that's important to you. Maybe we work towards it. Maybe that's a different way to discuss it with them. Right.
Exactly. Yeah, you can take an action by just having that conversation, and that can be tough too. So I offer up just some tips around that. As A, it's someone you totally trust that you're talking to it about it. B, it's you leave it open but also judgment free. I think judgment's the biggest piece because there's so much judgment around money.
Yes.
Yeah, it can be very embarrassing and hurtful. And if I have not spoken up back in 2008 when I was in my financial trifecta to someone about this, then I would be spiraling in the same shame story around
like
my
a
own
lot
money.
of us, right? We just closed the door on it in our brains. So we have to take a break really fast. When we come back, everybody, the conversation continues. Christine has a few key things that we can do. Our brains are already going crazy. We'll be right back.
Kathy J.
The Colorado Lottery is an official partner of the Kathy J Show. Colorado Lottery, play on.
Kathy J.
Money, everybody. Welcome back to the Kathy J Show. Christine Walsh is here with us. She is a money expert. She's been hanging out with us, telling us advice on how to think differently about our money so we can have a better financial well-being in 2022 and beyond. So when we talk about practical versus emotional spending, what are you doing there?
Well, emotional spending, a lot more is probably driven through emotional spending than practical spending, right? So practical spending is probably what we need for our household, our groceries, mortgage / rent, anything like that. If you're looking at your expenses, even laying those basic foundations out, those are the things, they provide safety and security for us. And around the time that we're going through, we're needing that more than ever. So even recognizing that where our funds are going, even if you don't like paying your mortgage or your rent, or you think it's more than you would like it to be.
Absolutely.
Really, it is helping you understand your level of security and safety and bolstering that value up in you. So that could be helpful to some.
Because you don't realize, you just think you're paying the bill to keep a roof over your head, but it's actually an emotional attachment you have with the place, how much you're paying, whatever you're doing with that.
Exactly.
Okay, so what do you tell people? Okay, so emotional, that could also, the purchases of
overspending at the mall or
right.
on Amazon. I mean, we're not really going to malls as much, but and it's so easy to purchase things on Amazon these days.
Right.
It's like one click.
Right.
But recognizing just the energy behind it. If it is, I think everyone really knows themselves well enough to understand, hey, I'm just doing this to avoid something else.
Right.
And it's totally fine, because in that awareness is a shift.
Yeah.
And if that's it, totally fine. And if the next step is, no, I want to change this, I actually want to shift the dynamic around this, you can take a step back, and this is where you can start to see, oh, maybe I'm feeding something that's underlying, and again, just goes back to emotion.
And so by doing that, I mean, should the rest of us, should we be like, all of a sudden, should we be doing 401ks? Should we be more serious about our money instead of buying emotional stuff?
I do think that retirement is it needs to be redefined for everyone. How we do money, how our parents have done money, how our grandparents have done money is much different. The times are different.
Right.
So I would invite everyone to redefine what retirement looks like, how old, and I do think retirement vehicles that are out there, whether it's through your career and your corporation or your firm where you're contributing to 401k, super important to match. As much as you can. If you are an entrepreneur or working person who doesn't have access to that, going to a financial advisor that you may have heard as a referral from a friend, that's someone that will honor your value system. That's how I like to invest, is through my own value system.
Yes.
And it just makes me feel better about where my money's going.
And you're right. And there's so many resources out there. What are some that you would suggest?
Yeah, so I love some of the books that are out there. You're a Badass at Money is one of my faves. And then there's another one called Money, a Love Story by Kate Northrup. So books are really an easy way, those types of books. If you get too heavy into
the money and the numbers
exactly,
and stuff, you'll lose me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You'll start to kind of sabotage yourself, and you'll want to just walk away again. So I like to take people through the emotional route because it is the way to the robustness of using your money on your terms.
Yes, and I love that, everybody. So thank you so much, Christine Walsh, everybody. Yay! To connect with Christine, please go to her website, ChristineMWalsh.com. Tell them what the M is for.
Money.
ChristineMWalsh.com, everybody. Thank you so much, Christine. You're the best.
Welcome.
And remember, if you missed anything, please find us at KathyJShow.com. Have a good one, everybody.